Here's Brody Brazil.
Let's begin with overall themes for the Oakland A's in 2022. And I think it's stating the absolute obvious. This is going to be a drastically different campaign than recent ones. Honestly, this is even different than any other time that Oakland has done that Oakland thing where they flip a bunch of players, they play for 3 to 4 years, 5 years down the road, whatever that target date is. This time around is a little bit different. It's not just Olsen and Chapman and Chris Bassett, but it's all the other players that they didn't retain, Mark Canha, a Starling Marte, a Josh Harrison, Jan Gomes. I could go on and on here. But it's also the manager, Bob Melvin, is gone. There is so much departure and transition here. This is a drastically different team. And because of that, number 2 on my list here, expectations absolutely must change. For several years in a row, this was a 97-win team, or at least it had the ambitions to be. It had the ambitions to match that every year and contend in the AL West. And I don't mean just contend, but like try and win the division as they did in 2020. But they were always going to be right up there so long as this group was wholly intact. Well, they are not anymore. So the expectations have to change. That being said, I've seen this floated around a lot lately. Oh, the Oakland A's could be a 100-loss team in 2022. I'm not ready to buy into that at all, actually. We have a saying in television about performing on a show, and if you thought it was really good or you thought it was a train wreck, it's never as good as you thought it was, like when you go back and watch the tape, and it's never as bad as you thought it was when you go back afterwards and watch the tape. I mean, look, clearly last season, everybody thought from the onset this was a real legitimate chance for the A's to put things together, make a deep playoff run in 2021. And a lot of things fell apart along the way. Turns out that as they look back on that season, just wasn't as good as they thought. But I think here approaching 2022, as there are some negative feelings, there's emotions. There's emotions with detaching from individuals, from players, from something that was being built. It's not going to be as bad as people think either. I truly and firmly believe that. There is still enough intact here to have a respectable and have a proficient Oakland A's season. So I want to, as much as we're talking about expectations changing here, I don't want to diminish what the current group is capable of. However, I don't think you set the bar anywhere near where it used to be to start. Now, this does provide opportunity for some players who were not every day in the lineup, the Chad Pinders, the Tony Kemps. We'll get into individuals in just a second, but anytime something like this happens where mainstays are gone, it does provide that opportunity for a second layer and level of player that just wasn't getting that chance before. And I really do look forward to some of these guys getting that chance, getting that crack. Because I know for sure some of them are going to rise to the occasion. Maybe not all of them. It just doesn't always work out that way. But I do look forward to that. And again, jobs to be won. If you're Mark Kotsay, right, and you're the coaching staff right here, right now in spring training, you didn't really have to think about, well, who's my third baseman this year? Who's going to win that battle? Who's my first baseman this year? Who's going to win that battle? If Chris Bassett had stayed in Athletic, you know who your opening day starter was going to be. But there are a lot of questions, and because of that, there is a lot of opportunity. Speaking of the coaching staff and Mark Kotsay, got to catch up with him, I don't know, was it about 2 weeks ago down in Arizona? And it's weird, but it's really not weird. It's weird to think that here's somebody who's never managed a baseball team at all before. And now he's manager of the Oakland A's. That might be weird to some. But here's a player with the A's among several other teams in his long and durable career. But he's also been part of the coaching staff since, 2015 or 16 in Oakland. He's been around this. He totally gets it. Quite honestly, when the job was vacant, he was like right up there for me, the person who I hoped got the job. And such is the case. again, things have changed for him since he took the job till now. That's what we're talking about with the expectation change and things being drastically different and his job, being a lot tougher all of a sudden. But at the same respect, I mean, it's going to be an overall theme of this year, but I really don't even think, it's hard shoes to fill what Bob Melvin left behind. Tremendous vacancy that he leaves behind. But at the same respect, if there was somebody that I think can do it, and I wanted to get that chance for him to do it, it is Mark Kotsay. So I'm only saying an overall theme in terms of something different. I think it's Mark's goal to have there be not a lot to notice in the managing department with the Oakland A's. It's been strong and steady for more than 10 or 11 years, so try to keep doing what had been done there. At the same time, bring your own style. He will gravitate to all the players or vice versa in that clubhouse because he knows all of them already. So there's a lot of positives there, and I look forward to this for Mark. And my last overall theme here for the Oakland A's, I think this might be the most important. 162 games, that's a lot. What they're about to dive into together is a lot. And to keep it together, to make sure you don't unravel this year, super important for the Oakland A's. You're going to lose some games. Every team in this league goes through ruts, right? They go through a week or two or a month or whatever where things just go south. But the more the A's can avoid those extended losing skids, right? The more they can minimize the damage, I think they're going to be way better off because you already have this season with some interesting storylines, some frustrations potentially about, how things have changed. And if you can avoid losing large amounts of games in a row or even multiple times, like I said, losing's going to happen, but minimize those, compartmentalize those sequences, it's really going to help this team in terms of morale. I think it's also going to help this group in terms of looking at the standings, looking in the mirror, and remembering who they are and what they're capable of. And that is, to be quite honest, they are capable of surprising people. They've done this before. When I say surprising people, I mean, better record, better season than anybody was about to give them credit for. So keeping it together for 162 games, huge deal for me. I didn't put the word unravel on here, but avoiding unraveling is essentially another way to say it. And the big thing is this. I mean, I could list all the on-field stuff. I could list, what the team is hoping to accomplish, but really it's what the franchise is hoping to accomplish here in 2022. And I certainly hope and think a lot of this is going to get squared away during the upcoming baseball season. Securing a new home in Oakland will matter for the rest of your and my life versus anything that's about to happen on the baseball field in 2022. Does that make sense? Is that sunk in? I hope so for most people. And I'm not saying throw away the baseball season, win or lose today, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that at all. We're about to all embark on this season together. But what happens with Howard Terminal, what happens with the A's staying in Oakland, like I said, that's a generational thing. 2022, even if this team, they win the World Series. They're a storybook season, right? Okay, that's going to come, that's going to go, and it won't mean a thing if the Oakland A's are not playing in Oakland in 2031. So there you go.